Okay, welcome to hip external rotation, PAILs and rails. So the mechanism we are trying to improve is your hip's ability to externally rotate. And that may throw some of you off because you're like, wait, the foot's moving inward. It's the rotation of the hip. We're rotating away from the body. This is your ability to wind your hips up to have more stable hips to perform from. So we want to get into that 90-90 position. So just to review, the basic way to do that is you kind of sit like you're leaning back and then fold your legs in like so. So your torso essentially turns 90 degrees. Okay, we want to get our front leg, because that's the one we're working, as close to 90 degrees as we can get. If you need to bend your knee a little bit to start, that's okay. But definitely work up to being able to do this in the full 90 degrees. With your back leg, because we're not really working it, you can just put that wherever you want, wherever is comfortable. So, first things first is posture. Posture is everything in regards to accessing more of your body. And so with the hip external PAILs and rail, external rotation, we want to think of a nice tall spine, so we're reaching the head up towards the ceiling. Okay, now from here, keeping that tall spine, you want to think about reaching the chest forward. And if you're pretty tight, it's not going to take very long before you start to feel a stretch in your butt cheek, the butt cheek on the front leg. Okay? Now from here, we're going to be holding this for 1 solid minute, and this being a follow along video, we're going to do this together. Okay, so we're starting the timer. It's 1 to 2 minutes. If you feel like you need to hold a little longer, maybe you're super tight, pause the video and hold it for 2 minutes. But in this position, we're checking our posture. We're making sure there's a good stretch on the glute. Okay, we're just relaxing. Now in terms of what we're doing after the minute is up, if you haven't watched the PAILs and rails explanation video, which I'll link in the description of this video, make sure you watch it. We are going to be doing the PAILs contraction, which is we are pushing the ankle and the knee down into the floor. We start at about 20%, so you're pushing just a little bit. And then you work up to 40%, 60, 80, and then as hard as you can without pain. The harder you push, the more glute you want to feel. So we're gonna start that first contraction in about 10 seconds. Okay? So again, check in with your posture one last time. Get ready to push down. 3, 2, 1. So start pushing down just at 20%. So even just doing that, you should feel a little bit more glute. If not, make micro adjustments in your posture until you find it. Now we're going to go up to 40%, but don't jump from 20 to 40. You think about going 21, 22. You just want to go as gradually as possible. Now we go up to 60%. So at this point, you should start to feel some pretty good glute activation. Okay, go up to 80%. Now, hard as you can without causing compensation or pain, we're going to hold this for 15 seconds, starting now. So we're pushing down as hard as we can without causing pain, without compensating anywhere. You should feel a lot of glute. In 5 seconds, we're going to push the knee down and think about lifting up the ankle. 2, 1, push the knee down, lift up the ankle. This one we're lifting as hard as we can right away. Now we want to feel this in the groin. Okay? So you push as hard as you can. 3, 2, 1, and relax. So stay in the stretch, but relax the contraction. Okay, I like to give myself 5 or 10 seconds before I begin again. We're going to do 2 more repetitions. Okay, so again, start pushing down at 20%. You should feel more glute when you do that. Up to 40%. 60. 80, feeling quite a bit of glute activation now. Hard as you can, and hold. So again, we're pushing hard. Maxing out that glute contraction, pushing the ankle and the knee into the floor. Woo, not easy. 2, 1, okay, lift the ankle. Remember, this is an isometric contraction. When you hear me say lift the ankle, you shouldn't see your ankle move very much. You're not seeing mine move. But you should feel this in the groin pretty good. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and good. Woo! Okay, again, rest. Stay in the stretch if you can. If you need to back out of it, obviously you can for a second. You can get back into the stretch. 1 more rep, okay? Doing good. By the way, if you're getting a little sweaty That's what we call the mobility sweat. That's because you're working, even though you're not doing traditional movements. All right, start pushing down at 20%, one last rep. Feel that glute turn on, go 40%. Again, we're trying to go gradually here, 60%, 80%, check in with your posture. A lot of times I try to round out, don't do that. Nice tall spine, as hard as you can, and hold. So again, pushing the ankle and the knee down. In case you can't see it on my face, we're working right now, we're working hard. And go ahead and lift the ankle one last time, max effort. Connecting to the groin muscle here. 2, 1, and relax. Whew. Okay, so typically as far as prescription, you do about 3 to 5 repetitions. We just did 3. If you want to do a couple more, you totally can. If you're new to it, nothing wrong with starting small with just 3 reps and moving on to the next one. So you'll want to repeat that on the other leg. All right, so you go from here and then you just flip around, do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we have some hip internal rotation, PAILs and rails. So we're doing the back leg in the 90-90. If you have not watched the PAILs and rails explanation video, it's linked in the description. I highly recommend you watch that first, especially if this is new, because it just goes over kind of the point, why we're doing it, and how to do it. So within the context of the 90-90 position, I always like to fold in the leg that I'm not working. I personally feel that I could focus on the working leg more, but you do whatever you want with that leg, okay? So ideally we want the knee straight out from the hip and the ankle straight down from the knee, forming that 90-degree angle. To lessen the degree of the stretch, you lean away from the leg and or forward, and then to increase it, you lean up and towards the leg. I am still working on building internal rotation in my hips, so I'm not gonna get very deep in this stretch. We're gonna hold the stretch for 1 minute. You can hold it for up to 2 minutes, but for the sake of the video, just 1 minute. And then the PAILs contraction, where we are ramping up the intensity, we're gonna be pushing the ankle and the knee into the ground, working up, and then holding that max contraction for 15 seconds. So you're gonna feel that a lot in the groin area. And then the rails contractions, we're gonna be pushing the knee into the floor and lifting the ankle up, connecting to the high hip area. Now, one point I have not made yet in the other videos, you may feel some cramping in the rails contraction. If you're feeling that, back out of it if you need to, but my encouragement to you is to actually contract through it, because basically that cramp is a sign of weakness. The only way to overcome that weakness is to contract through it, and you won't get hurt, I promise, okay? All right, so here we go. We're gonna go into a minute-long stretch starting now. So I'm breathing and relaxing. I'm thinking about trying to feel my hip sink closer into the floor. I'm not gonna jam my hip down, but maybe I'll just gently encourage that by just pushing down just a tiny bit. The better you can relax in this passive stretching, the better the contractions are gonna be. So try not to white knuckle your way through the stretch. Really take this time to breathe deeply and slowly and relax. We're gonna begin our first contraction in about 25 seconds. We're gonna do 3 sets. If you're really tight, you feel like you need to go the full 2 minutes, pause the video and do full 2 minutes of stretching. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, 10 seconds, get ready. One more deep breath in and out. Start pushing the ankle and the knee down, just at 20%, just a little bit. Now 40%. 60%, so we're just, again, gradually going up. 80%, so you should be feeling some pretty good contractions now. All right, hard as you can, and hold for 15 seconds. So we're pushing the ankle and the knee down into the ground hard. In 10 seconds, we're gonna lift the ankle, connect to the glute. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, squeeze the abs and lift the ankle. Remember, this is an isometric contraction, so you don't need to see the ankle move very far, if at all. You just wanna feel those muscles. Ooh, we're cramping. Yeah, this side is cranky. and relax. So see, sometimes I gotta get out of the stretch. Sometimes I'm feeling that big time. Okay, once you're, get your wits about you again, get back into that stretch position. Okay, I usually give myself about 5 to 10 seconds between contractions anyway. Start pushing down at 20% again. 40, 60, 80, hard as you can, and hold 15 seconds. So you're continually pushing down. 5 seconds, we're gonna lift the ankle again. 3, 2, 1, and lift. A little bit better this time, not as crampy. Pretty crampy still though. 3, 2, 1, and good. Go ahead and rest. Got one more rep. See, I'm getting out of the stretch too because it was getting pretty crampy. But try to contract through it. All right, start again at 20%, pushing down, last rep. 40%, 60, 80, hard as you can, and hold. So we're pushing hard. Don't hurt yourself, but the harder you can push down, the more it's gonna help your brain relax these muscles, which will help the crampiness go away. 3, 2, 1, and lift. Even though we're lifting hard, squeezing hard, try to breathe still. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Ooh. Okay, good times on that. So to do the other side, which you can just pause the video or rewind it, you would just go from one side and then flip over and do the other side. In case you haven't watched any of the other videos, I don't recommend doing this more than 2 to 3 days per week, especially if you're new, because you will get sore from this. Your hips don't know the difference. As far as they're concerned, they just did a bunch of heavy squats and deadlifts. You want to give it time to optimally recover. So 2 to 3 days a week, tops for now. You know your body, you know when you can add more, but don't be in a hurry to do that. We'll see you for the next one.